This morning we're talking about the big investment opportunities in Africa's market today, particularly when it comes to hospitality, hotels and tourism. And who better to inform us of all the latest news than Hamza Farooqui, the CEO and founder of the Millat Group. Hamza, lovely to chat with you today.
Thank you for having me.
Now, of course, you've had a busy week. We are here at the Future Hospitality Summit in Dubai, and I know you've just been speaking at the UAE Africa event as well, teaching people the investment opportunities that exist in Africa today. What would you say your key message for the audience was?
I think the relevance on Africa is becoming more and more prevalent, right? You've got a world which is traveling more. You've got people who want more experiences. Africa provides that. Africa is also a very important travel corridor for the UAE, right? Africa this year, 75 million tourists. How is the UAE and the GCC going to fill up all of the attractions assets? Africa is a very important feeder market. So I think, how do you take that relationship to the next curve? How do you build that meaningfully? I think we're all topics on the agenda, but also guiding policymakers through how do you execute, right? Because the biggest challenge in Africa is execution. How do you get stuff done? And I think that was a very important dialogue, and I think it's a dialogue which is going to continue on many forums.
And of course, Africa is such a diverse market as well. It's not like many other parts of the world. What has been your biggest advice in terms of how to succeed in business in Africa today?
So I think there's two very relevant pieces. One, you've got to find opportunities at scale. You've got to find opportunities which really can make a difference. Many people have done Africa, I call it half-heartedly. Pick one hotel here, pick three hotels there. So I think you've got to pick opportunities which have the biggest amount of impact. Two, I think you've got to back the right jockeys. Capability is a very, very important statement. What makes America and Europe relevant is they've got very good capability. Very much like this part of the world, great capability in the Middle East. Africa, you've got to pick the winners, you've got to pick the jockeys which have capability. And when you put capital and capability together, you see some excellent results.
Well, let's talk about some of those winning picks. You've done a lot of work with Hyatt, of course, opening the Park Hyatt earlier this year. How many hotel keys have you got now with them?
So just over 300 in South Africa. Obviously, the biggest process in that journey for us was the opening of the Park Hyatt, which was, I call it the labor of love, because for us to build something experiential in the heart of Johannesburg, everyone figures out tourism where there's volume. Cape Town is easy to do. Safari is easy to do. But to do something in Johannesburg, which hasn't really attracted anything meaningful in the last number of years, was important for us. And I think opening of Park Hyatt Johannesburg symbolizes that execution capability, symbolizes that thesis, and I think is a very important playbook for what we're trying to do at Millat.
Now, of course, several months in after the official opening as well. Tell us, how's it gone so far? Where have been the biggest challenges? What have been the biggest lessons you've learned?
I think figuring out that you've got to build a base business from local support, I think, is very relevant. Many times you do an international brand and think international travelers are going to come automatically. It doesn't happen that way. The other thing is you've got to be very honest as a property owner. The brands can only do so much. They'll give you some guidelines, they'll support you, but you as the Uber driver need to figure out how you're going to get around. So I think at Millat, that's what's unique. We've been able to curate the property, build something very meaningful. We're very lucky that the G20 is about to happen, so I think volume supply rate has been very stable, but we're very excited for what that does in the luxury space. We're very excited what it does to the capability thesis, and I think experientially we're very excited. It is the one hotel where you're not going to have a check-in, and those are the things that Africa needs, because my personal view, check-ins shouldn't exist in the ultra-luxury segment. You should just arrive, you shouldn't check in.
Do you know, I was speaking with Paul Griffiths of Dubai Airports earlier today, and he said the exact same thing. He said, why are we still doing check-ins? It's still so outdated. Yes, we want to travel. We have the ticket, we've made the booking. And the hotel industry, I think, is quite similar. So talk me through that process. If there is no check-in, what do guests experience from the moment they arrive at the Park Hyatt?
Well, we're very fortunate, right? We live in a world of AI, technology, big data. I should be able to know exactly who Katie is, when is she arriving, what are her likes, dislikes, and I expect her to be received by a senior member of staff who doesn't have a scripted conversation, but who has a human conversation, because that's where the magic lies. That's where people are going to pay rate. Again, you speak of Paul Griffiths. I think Dubai has done a super job of that, right? You enter Dubai airports, you look at Emirates Airlines, you look at that ecosystem. Those are things I think what we're trying to drive at the Park Hyatt, and it works very well in the luxury segment. Obviously, that's something we want to drive in other hotels that Millat ends up doing, but it's about getting the culture right. And if you can get the culture right, you can get that people training capability right, then to export that and make that more scalable is very easy.
And I think you raise a really important point there, because as much as we all love the idea of AI, automation, digital transformation, at the end of the day, when it comes to hospitality, that human touch, human connection is so important. We don't want to meet and greet from robots. So what are some of the ways that you're investing in technology to make a really tangible improvement on the ground for your visitors?
So I think it's two pieces. Hyatt is a great global company. I think has great tools, resources, global technology platform which we're able to use, but also being a bit of a owner who's thinking a few steps ahead, we're able to really use other tools around guest management pieces, and that's interfaced into the management piece. But we are of the view that that's going to also evolve. That's also going to evolve on the technology and the distribution standpoint. I think there is going to be a world in which agentic AI is going to dictate where people book. It is going to be the world where the OTAs are going to find it very difficult, and those are things we want to drive on the African agenda. Those are the kind of conversations Millat wants to lead and build on the African continent.
We look forward to hearing more of those updates. Hamza, what a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much.